Black Ops 6 Season 1 Reloaded has shaken things up, and if you're playing on a controller, you're gonna want to hear this. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your Uncle Skrong, and in this video, we're cutting through all the fluff, all the 20-minute videos explaining controller settings to deep dive into the most important ones you need to look at after the massive updates in Season 1 Reloaded. From changes to the aim assist to some new controller tweaks, the developers have made some big moves. And trust me, the little tweaks can make the difference between you being a bot and between you rinsing the lobby. I'm gonna break it all down for you, what changed, why it matters, and how to optimize your settings for pinpoint accuracy and smoother gameplay. So be ready to take your gaming to the next level. Stick around because you're not going to want to miss this. But that leads me to my first sponsor, which is absolutely nobody. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we got to talk about your in-game sensitivity settings. Now, for most players, a good starting point is between 5 and 7 for both horizontal and vertical sensitivity. This range provides a balance between speed and accuracy, which is crucial for most playstyles. However, with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Season 1 Reloaded, they switched the scale that we've had for the last 15 to 20 years, which was a scale of 1 through 20, and they gave us this point system that goes all the way up to 4. But don't worry, because what I could do for you guys is pull up this stick sensitivity calculator that'll give you your pre-patch sensitivities, and you're able to translate it into the post-patch sensitivities. 5 through 7 being a good starting point for most players and most playstyles would translate to 120 to 165 on this new Call of Duty scale. If you need to pause this to take a screenshot, feel free to go ahead. But anywhere in this general area is a great starting point. You know, if you're a sniper, if you want to lean towards the lower end of this range for more precision when lining up long-range shots, or on the other hand, if you're a close quarters SMG guy, you're going to prefer a higher sensitivity for quick reactions and rapid target switching. You need to be testing these settings at different scenarios to see which one complements your gameplay style. If you're a more aggressive player, you might want to go higher. But for accurate aiming, staying within this range pretty much works wonders for most people. Now, going into aiming and going into your sensitivity multiplier, you will find that there is an ADS sensitivity multiplier. And you want to keep this lower at around 0.8 to 1.0, which is going to ensure precision when tracking enemies. Experiment to find what feels balanced for your gameplay so that you can ensure precision when tracking enemies. All right, so moving down into aiming advanced settings, we need to go over something extremely important. First, ADS sensitivity transition timing. This is default now to gradual. You're going to go ahead and change this to instant, which is going to immediately apply your sensitivity multiplier. With Call of Duty being a really fast-paced shooter, you don't want anything gradual, right? As soon as you ADS, you want to have your sensitivity multiplier applied. That way, your muscle memory can get used to this, and it'll be the same experience every single time. And moving down to the aim response curve type. Now, let's not get too nerdy with this. Call of Duty gives us 3 choices: standard, linear, and dynamic. The reason I play on linear and the reason that most people and most pros are playing on linear is because the movement of your thumbstick on linear directly translates to an equivalent crosshair movement. That means if you push the thumbstick 50% of the way, the crosshair is going to move at 50% of the maximum speed. Linear eliminates acceleration and deceleration, offering raw and immediate response to the input. So linear is basically just your raw input. There's no adjustments made to the smoothing of your aim. What your input is exactly what happens in game. And now the obvious advantages to using linear is improved muscle memory. So using linear, every input is predictable. It allows your brain and your muscles to adapt and develop the muscle memory faster than with these other aim response curves. Over time, this is going to improve your accuracy, flick shots, and tracking because your movements have become second nature without you even thinking about it. So if you're already a skilled aimer, linear is going to allow you to make micro adjustments without the game interfering by smoothing and accelerating your movements. It's got a more natural feeling. And for those of you that like to, flick with snipers, the curve doesn't adjust your input dynamically, so you can snap to targets, quick flick with your snipers with full control. This setting is best for high-paced competitive scenarios, which Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is. It's also compatible with higher sensitivities. So if you're a higher sensitivity guy, linear aim response works well with that because it avoids any overcorrection or drag that can happen with these 2 other aim response curve types. So if you want the ultimate control of your aim, linear would be your best option. Subjective for your aim response curve slope scale, I like to use 0.55. You're going to have to adjust this accordingly in a private match against bots and see which works best for you. For me, it's 0.55. This is subjective. It's going to be different for everybody. And sometimes based on whether you move this to the left or to the right, you can get into some of these other ones. I believe if you move it down, you're more standard. If you move it up, you're more dynamic. You know, don't quote me on that, but pretty much the way it was taught to me. Now, there are some reasons you would not want to use linear, and that would be if you're basically just playing the game for the first time, if you're not used to the precise aiming, if you're still learning. Linear might be a little too raw for you, so you might want to move over to standard because linear might feel just a little bit unnatural to you right off the bat. Stick with this for at least a week before switching to anything else. That way you can make sure if it's really for you or not. All right, moving on to your dead zone settings. Now, you want to set your dead zone for both left and right sticks to 0.05 or lower, which pretty much translates to 0 and to 0. We'll get to why this is 2 in a second. This is going to reduce input delay and improves responsiveness, allowing for more precise control over your aim. Now, for those of us using older controllers or those of us with stick drift, increasing the dead zone slightly can stabilize the input. So if you're having some stick drift, you need to increase this until it fixes it. Not too much, but just until it fixes it. Now, lower dead zones are ideal for my competitive players out there who are aiming for maximum precision. And if you're using some older equipment and you have stick drift, then you can correct it by adjusting this right here. Now, I like to keep my left stick max at 70. That way I'm gonna get to my maximum movement quicker, and I keep my right stick max at 93. This all reduces input delay and improves the responsiveness, and it's gonna make you a lot more responsive in your gunfights. All right, moving over here to movement, sprint assist, I keep this on. Now, if you're a fast-paced player like me, enabling the auto tactical sprint is pretty much going to save your controller's thumbsticks and ensure that your movements are quick. But keep in mind, it's gonna reduce your control in certain situations where you need to be more precise, because instead of walking, you're going to be running. So if you need to be moving slowly, you're obviously not going to be able to. So keep that in mind. Clicking show more, your sprint assist delay is going to be at 0. Sprint sideways on, sprint backwards on. My manual assist is always off. My crouch assist is always off. My corner slice is off. There's really no reason to be cornering when there's no visual difference in the game from your opponent. It's just more visual input that you have to deal with when aiming. Now, this movement behavior is going to be subjective, but I like slide only. I'm a slide canceller. I like to run around the map slide canceling. I don't like the new dive, and I don't like hybrid. Automatic airborne mantle is on. Sprint restore and slide maintain sprint. Keep that on. Okay, pro tip. To truly master your sensitivity and controller settings, it's essential to engage in focused practice sessions. And here's how you can do that. All right, so the way we're going to do this, we're going to navigate over to multiplayer. We're going to scroll down here, go to find a match, and we're going to go down here and we're going to click on private match, and we're going to create a private match. We got to wait a little while for it to connect and populate us up here. That way we can add bots. Now, what I like to do when I first start off is I like to put it on like 8 bots. Now, at first, I just like to put them on regular, and I like to go into team match, go into game setup, go to custom rules, and adjust this so that the time limit is enough to where you can be in there for a while, and then adjust the scored limit to where you can be in there for a while. Go back. Now, here's where you can change the map. I like to stay on vault. And here's where you can change the game mode. For my first practice session, I like to just go to team deathmatch, then click back, and then you click play. And this will put you in a lobby with 8 bots on regular difficulty, you versus them. Make sure you set up your weapons beforehand, so that way you're using the loadouts you're using in a regular game in the match. And you need to have a structured practice routine. Now, aim for 20 to 30 minutes of dedicated practice. You want to strive for at least 200 kills so that you can maintain your focus and measure your improvement. You want to concentrate on achieving consistent accuracy and efficient target acquisition and tracking. All right, after setting everything up, jump into a custom game like I showed you and test your settings. Practice tracking bots, snapping onto targets, and moving fluidly. Make tweaks to whatever you need to, but remember not to change the settings too often. Let your muscle memory build up for at least a week to fully adapt to the changes. So that's it for the best controller settings in Black Ops 6. Guys, I hope you found value in the video. If you did, please leave a comment below. Let me know if I forgot anything. Let me know if you play on anything different. Let me know if there's a setting that I missed. Considering hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for future videos. And listen, if you didn't know, Black Ops 6 is rigged against you. I got a video on that up here. And if you're struggling with your Warzone settings and your FPS being really bad, I got a video for that right up here. So make sure you click on one of those too. Come on, do it.